Hey all you fourth grade science buffs out there. I'm a banana here to tell you to eat more strawberries, but to talk to you a little bit about why throughout the year, why does the length of the day and night change over the course of time? Well, first off, we got to consider one thing. How long does it take Earth to rotate all the way around the sun, to orbit the sun to its entirety? First thing we got to recognize is that it takes 1 year. 1 year for the Earth to orbit the entire sun. Now, let's take that year and let's break it down on a day's perspective. First off, it takes the Earth 24 hours to make a full rotation, to rotate on its axis, not necessarily orbiting the entire sun like we see in this picture, but just to rotate one time. Now, whenever this takes place, the sides of the Earth that are facing towards the sun have this thing that we like to call daylight. That's right. Hey, that's a secret. Don't tell anyone. Daylight. Whew, we got some interruptions going on right there. Now, I got my buddy here who's my outer space whiz, likes to do a lot of dancing and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoy my buddy in the background. But now, while this thing known as daylight, yes, that's whenever the sun is actually facing, and we have this thing called daylight where we can see whenever we're outside. Now, whenever the sun's facing, or the Earth's facing away from the sun, we have this thing called darkness, nighttime. Now, this is the same for other planets. All of our other planets within our solar system orbit the sun and they rotate on an axis. That's mind-blowing, okay? But it's kind of interesting because we look at a planet like Mars. Mars is very similar to Earth. It rotates 24.6 hours. It takes it 24.6 hours to rotate on its axis one time. But if we look at planets like Venus, it takes 243 Earth days for it to make one rotation. So there's some long day and nights there. But that brings us to our big overall question. Remember, eat more strawberries. Why does the length of day and night change? Well, it's very interesting. Our Earth is tilted, okay? Earth's tilted 23.5 degrees. It sits on an axis. Now, this never changes, and our Earth rotates the sun counterclockwise, okay? Counterclockwise. So the thing that's interesting is because our axis never changes, it's not like Earth is sitting on the axis this way and then just flips this way. It stays on this axis and it rotates and orbits around the sun just like that. Now, the interesting thing about it is throughout the year, because this takes place, some areas of our Earth get more light than other areas do. Now, that's one thing that gets very, very interesting, okay? Because some areas of the Earth, now if you're around the equator, you're going to get about 12 hours of light every single day, okay? That's just how it is. But especially places like the North Pole, during the summertime, places in the North Pole, they get daylight, and that's it. They get absolutely no darkness, or very seldom darkness for months. And then in the winter, whenever wintertime comes, they get more darkness than they do daylight. So that's one thing that's pretty cool because, again, our Earth never flips. It always stays on this axis. So at certain points of the year, places like the North Pole are going to be directed directly towards the sun, meaning they're going to get more sunlight than others. Now, as Earth orbits, as it rotates around this sun, because it never changes, some places are going to get more daylight than other places. Especially if you're located at the northern hemisphere, the northern pole. Now, us, fortunately, here in Moultrie, Georgia, we experience about 12 hours a day because of where we're located at. We're not located directly on the equator, but we're not so far away from the equator that we don't get too much sunlight or night darkness throughout the year. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a quick rundown on some science things that you guys learned about with why the length of day and night changes throughout the year. It's interesting information. I hope you enjoyed meeting my buddy Seymour right here. Seymour, he's a space astronaut. And this is Mr. Yarbrough dressed as a banana to remind you to eat more strawberries or apples, either one, just not bananas. Have a great day.